In the vast void of the universe, amidst the silent desert between the stars, a power born of the unknown rose. Humankind was feared by the most advanced civilizations across the galaxy, not just for its physical strength, but for its complex intelligence, psychological depth, and technological mastery. Dr. Elric Voss was one of the most respected minds at the Institute for Xenotechnology Research. Tall, pale, and penetrating, he seemed to reject any label other than human weakness. His jet-black hair and metallic blue eyes betrayed the calculating and unemotional scientist within him. In his eyes, humans were not just a species. They were thought forms, born from the chaos of the universe, created to overcome every obstacle. Amidst vast holographic projections, Elric examined his newly developed Neuralink technology. This technology blended the structure of the human brain with digital neural networks, allowing individuals to connect with the collective consciousness. Synapsex was the next stage in human evolution. But this wasn't just technology. Humans carried an unknowable darkness that somehow made them terrible. Other species didn't just defeat their enemies. They developed strategies to subvert, decipher, and destroy them. But humans, through mind games, psychological warfare, and subconscious code breaking, humans tapped into their enemies' deepest fears and created a nightmare there. The door to Elric's studies suddenly opened. In walked Commander Ilara Thorne, a striking 28-year-old with red hair and olive skin, with a determination befitting her rank as commander. Every detail of her high-tech armor was a perfect balance between functionality and aesthetics. Ilara, Elric said, tearing his eyes away from the projection. The Synapsex protocol is ready. It's up to your team for the first field test. You know, this technology will revolutionize not only the battlefield, but also the warfare of the mind. Ilara smiled faintly. This is what we're accustomed to as humans, Elric. It's not just our job to fight with swords or lasers. To seize the enemy's mind, their will, and dominate their deepest fears. This is our greatest weapon. There was a brief silence in the cabin. Both of them felt the chaos of the war raging on the other side of the galaxy, millions of light-years away. Other species struggle to transcend their biological limitations, Elric said, clasping his hands. But we have weaponized thought. The complex neural networks within a human mind are incomprehensible and terrifying to them. That's why we are the galaxy's most fearsome warrior species. Ilara looked out the window. The stars before them were, like reflections of human history, bright, dangerous, and endless. In that moment, she felt the dark passion that lies in human nature. As Ilara Thorne walked through the narrow corridors of her ship, the echo of her footsteps created a pulsating rhythm on the steel walls. The Nemesis, one of the galaxy's most equipped warships, hosted humanity's most dangerous missions. Inside was an elite team chosen for the Synapsex protocol that would shape humanity's future. Captain Thorne's team would be tested not only by their physical strength, but also by their minds, their state-of-the-art Neuralink equipment, providing a direct data stream to their minds, pushed the boundaries of empathy and strategy. However, the resulting side effects also opened the door to spiritual chaos and a disorientation of consciousness. Among the team was Dr. Silas Cade, a genius in the field of neuropsychology. Tall, with sharp features and gray hair, he seemed born to unravel the complexities of the human brain. His eyes held a weary wisdom and a slight melancholy. Silas was constantly at war within his own mind, as he struggled to understand humanity's dark side. In the corner of the ship, Lena Morrow, a young but skilled technologist, danced among the wires and holographic panels. Her curly, dark brown hair shimmered with electronic lights. She was at the heart of technologies, pushing humanity's boundaries. An engineer who blurred the line between mind and machine. Ilara's most trusted warrior, however, was Captain Yarick Voss, Elric's brother and leader of Nemesis's security detail. Yarick was a man born on the battlefields, renowned for his ruthless and strategic mind. His eyes were fierce and resolute, his body covered in scars and battle scars. He embodied the wildest side of human nature. Synapsex, Yorick said, his voice deep and determined. If this technology can target our enemies' minds, we can render them utterly helpless. But this power in our hands can be very dangerous. Mind wars wear down not only the enemy, but also us. Ilara nodded. That's why it's crucial that the team stays united. We are the galaxy's most fearsome warriors, for not only are our weapons lethal, but our minds are deadly as well. As Captain Thorne looked out the window, a massive spacecraft suddenly materialized among the stars, sparking like sparks in the darkness. It was the flagship of the Jarek Thor Empire, a ruthless and technologically advanced species that had been at war with humans for years. The Nemesis's command center alarm lights began to flash. Ilara instructed her crew in a calm but rapid voice. Prepare. This will be the true test of Synapsex. The Nemesis's command center was awash with instantaneous streams of information and lights. The activation of the Synapsex protocol wasn't just a technical procedure. It was an experience that pushed the boundaries of the human mind, as the crew members were linked by Neuralink implants. A communication beyond words emerged between them, thoughts, feelings, memories, and feared. Silas Cade was focused on the screen. The synchronization of their brainwaves proceeded through complex mathematics. If the connection remains stable, the rift opened in the enemy's mind will be our most powerful weapon. However, the slightest error in the interaction between consciousnesses can destroy our nervous system. Lena Morrow smiled faintly as she fiddled with the holographic circuits above her head. Our AI-powered algorithms are deciphering the enemy's neural patterns. The battlefield is no longer merely physical. The battle of the mind has begun. Ilara was the most composed of the warriors. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and began to expand her mind. With the Synapsex connection, it was as if the knowledge of the entire universe was at her fingertips. The complex strategies in her mind were no longer just words, but also formed from feelings and memories. Yarek Voss, however, secretly loved this aspect of warfare, feeling the power of the intelligence glowing in the dark. But he was also aware of the danger of this power. Mind battles exposed the most vulnerable side of humanity. Moving through the metallic corridors of the Nemesis, the team prepared for the first field test of Sit. Each of their faces held a look of deep determination and a hint of trepidation. For this technology would test not only the enemy, but also them. The darkest recesses of the human mind were like portals to the outside world. Ilara Thorne stared at the holographic screens in the pilot house. Images of the battlefield, mind maps, Neuralink states, all of them, streamed into her simultaneously. Amidst this chaos, she struggled to control her own mind, while pushing the boundaries of the human mind. She was also waging a war within herself. Dr. Silas heard Cade's voice. The link is stable. The first rift is opening in the enemy's neural networks. Suddenly, the team members' eyes lit up briefly, and an echo began in their minds. Each of them felt the fears and traumas within the enemy's subconscious. Fear, pain, helplessness, but also the dark power and resolve inherent in human nature. Yarek Voss took a deep breath. Our minds must not be destroyed by this storm. That's the most terrifying thing about humans. They don't just destroy the enemy, they tear them apart from within. Ilara nodded slightly. This war isn't just physical. It's a storm that begins inside the mind. Humans are the most fearsome warrior species in the galaxy because they fight with their minds. Lena Morrow was tense but determined as she fiddled with the technological devices. Synapsex isn't just a technology. It's human nature itself. It's a path that transcends our limitations, confronting the unknown. Traveling through the metallic corridors of the Nemesis, the team prepared for the first field test of Synapsex. Each of their faces held a look of deep determination and a hint of unease. For this technology would test not only the enemy, but also them. The darkest recesses of the human mind were like portals to the outside world. Ilara Thorne stared at the holographic screens in the pilot house. Images of the battlefield, mind maps, Neuralink states, all of them flooded her simultaneously. Amidst this chaos, she struggled to control her own mind, while pushing the limits of the human mind. She was also waging a war within herself. She heard Dr. Silas Cade's voice. Link stable. The first breach in the enemy's neural networks is opening. Suddenly, the team members' eyes lit up briefly, and an echo began in their minds. Each of them felt the fears and traumas of the enemy's subconscious. Fear, pain, helplessness, but also the dark power and resolve inherent in human nature. Jarek Voss took a deep breath. Our minds must not be destroyed by this storm. That's the most terrifying thing about humans. They don't just destroy the enemy. They tear them apart from within. Ilara nodded slightly. This war isn't just physical. It's a storm that begins inside a mind. Humans are the most fearsome warrior species in the galaxy because they fight with their minds. Lena was tense but determined as she fiddled with the technological devices. Synapsex isn't just a technology. It's human nature itself. It's a path beyond our limitations, a path to confront the unknown. The Synapsex connection was growing, like a storm inside Nemesis. In Ilara's mind, the map of the enemy's consciousness was unfolding like a complex labyrinth. Here, not only a physical battle was taking place, but also a psychological and cognitive one. The human mind was both the shield and the sword of this war. Jarek, Elric Voss's brother, was reporting the situation from the communications panel. The enemy's psychological defenses are stronger than expected, but we are penetrating their deepest fears. Dr. Silas Cade was walking on the frontiers of science. This technology allows us to access the most complex layers of the human mind. But we must be careful, for the interaction between consciousnesses, if left unchecked, can engulf us as well. Lena Morrow's hands danced between the holographic panels. The system remains stable, but the enemy has begun to activate subconscious defense mechanisms. This battle is not only waged in the mind, but also in the depths of our emotions. Ella closed her eyes and focused on the chaos within her own mind. In this war that pushed the limits of human reason, she was forced to confront the darkness within her. This was one of the most terrifying aspects of humans, confronting their own darkness and weaponizing it. Suddenly, Nemesis's systems trembled. The enemy's conscious defenses were attacking the human mind. It wasn't a cyberattack, but rather a clash of souls. Jarek commanded in a stern voice. Strengthen your defenses. This is our test. Ilara replied with determination. Remember, we humans don't just fight. We are minds that glow in the darkness. We are the galaxy's most fearsome warriors, because we unleash the storm within us. Asterisk deep within Nemesis, beyond. The wires and circuits, the most complex mechanisms of the human mind, were being exposed through Synapsex in Ilara Thorne's mind. Layers of the enemy's consciousness rose like a complex structure, each layer, a new obstacle, a new labyrinth. But the human brain, with its capacity for adaptation and analysis, had long surpassed its opponents. Ilara suddenly recalled memories of her childhood years ago. A cold night, the words her father whispered to her, and the courage born from darkness. That moment was the crucial spark that shaped her into the powerful and resolute commander she is today. She realized that she was harnessing not the fear of people, but the power within fear. Jarek Voss, leading his team, tried to repel the enemy's psychological attacks. His muscles were tense, his face etched with the hardness and determination of years. He represented the ruthless and destructive side of human nature. In this battle, not only brawn but also dark intelligence was at play. Dr. Silas Cade continued to explore the boundaries of human consciousness while tracking the equipment. This technology transforms human consciousness into a collective strength. Each of our weaknesses melts into a powerful network that complements each other. Lena Morrow, meanwhile, cast a spell with technological devices. The enemy's defenses are crumbling. In a war of the mind, the flow of information is too rapid. The human mind deciphers subconscious enemies, but every advancement brought new dangers. Synapse's interconsciousness connection was exposing the deepest wounds of human psychology. For some, this battle became the most difficult struggle they had ever waged within their own minds. Alara took a deep breath and addressed her team. Remember, we were born from darkness. Every challenge makes us more formidable and stronger. This battle is not only against external enemies, it is also against our own darkness. These words echoed within Nemesis, revealing humanity's greatest secret and power. Minds born from darkness are the galaxy's most fearsome warriors. The air inside the Nemesis was thick and electric, pushing the limits of Synapse. The team was trying to break down the enemy's mental defenses, while simultaneously battling their own inner storms. The bond provided by the technology was binding people tightly together, while also bringing to light the fears and dark memories hidden within their minds. Alara's mind began a journey into the deepest reaches of the enemy's conscious map. This journey was a subconscious world far too complex for humans to comprehend, perhaps even beyond their grasp. Yet thanks to the flexibility and determination of the human mind, every obstacle seemed surmountable. Yarek Voss felt the weight of the war he carried on his shoulders. His mental wounds were as deep as his physical scars. In this war, not only weapons, but also minds clashed. This was the most terrifying aspect of humans, weaponizing their own inner darkness and turning it against the enemy. Dr. Silas Cade peered intently at the monitors, calculating the weaknesses in the enemy's conscious defenses. The conflict between consciousnesses is intensifying. If we don't pay attention, our minds will wear out. Lena Morrow ran her hands over the devices with rapid, determined movements. The system is at its limit. Synapse must prepare to get us out of here. Suddenly, Nemesis's systems trembled. A wave of cyber-psychic attacks was targeting human minds. This attack was the enemy's last stand. They were intent on destroying minds and severing the connection. Ilara gathered her entire team. Prepare. We will push the limits of human intellect, but we will not falter. We are minds born from darkness, and that makes us the most fearsome warriors in the galaxy. The interlocking minds began to repel this attack. With the power Synapse offered, humanity not only survived, but also continued to conquer the world of consciousness of its enemies. In the Nemesis Command Center, the collective mind network created by Synapse was now operating at full capacity. The consciousness waves of each team member had intertwined, as if they had become a single mind. This union pushed the boundaries of the human mind, allowing for a deep infiltration into the enemy's conscious world. As a thorn advanced through this dark labyrinth that opened within her minds, each new obstacle she encountered reminded her of the complexity and depth of human nature. The enemy's fears, traumas, and inner conflicts simultaneously strengthened her mental strength, for the power within fear was as destructive and transformative in enemies as it was in humans. Yarek Voss had become so profound during the War of Consciousness that he seemed to forget his physical existence. His dark war strategies played a crucial role in overcoming the enemy's mental defenses. Humans were the most fearsome warriors in the galaxy, not only with their weapons and technology, but also with their dark intelligence. Dr. Silas Cade continued to analyze mental maps and streams of consciousness. Synapse isn't just a technological device, it's the human mind itself. The rift we've opened in the enemy's mind is shaking their world. While securing the technological systems, Lena Morrow suddenly received a warning. The enemy's conscious guards had diverted the attack and prepared a cyber-psychic trap for the human team. This was the most critical moment of the battle. Elara quickly rallied her team. Attention, this isn't just a battle. This is a moment when our minds are tested. But remember, we were born from darkness, and this darkness is our greatest weapon. Together, they continued to advance through the dark labyrinth of their minds. Each step brought back memories of the suffering, triumphs, and dark sides of human history. These memories made them stronger, making them the most fearsome warriors in the galaxy. ****. The air inside the Nemesis was filled with a deathly silence. Only the white lights of Synapse X and the flickering holograms of the monitors existed. Elara Thorne closed her eyes and sank into a mental stillness. The rift they had opened in the enemy's conscious world was widening, but so was the darkness they would face. Walking on the sharp edges of consciousness, Elara faced her most difficult test. It was not merely to shatter her opponent's mind, but to confront the shadows within herself. Humans were the only species capable of weaponizing their fears and traumas. That was why they were the most fearsome warriors in the galaxy. Yarek Voss was sharp and merciless on the mental battlefield. His eyes targeted the guardians of his enemy's consciousness, every move testing his opponent's weaknesses. His mind bore the scars of battle, just as his body bore the scars of war, but he would never retreat. Dr. Silas Cade murmured softly as he analyzed the complex data streams. In the dark recesses of our minds, the enemy's fears run deeper than our own. But the human mind is an endless labyrinth. We will find our way through that labyrinth. As Lena Morrow continued to secure the systems, she noticed that Synapse X's power reserves were dwindling. Energy levels are critical. We cannot maintain this connection for long. Elara took a deep breath and gathered her team. Time is running out. But remember, fear does not destroy people. It makes them stronger. These minds, glowing in the darkness, are the galaxy's most fearsome warriors. Suddenly, a new enemy emerged in the world of consciousness. One of the enemy's darkest aspects was being used as a secret weapon against humanity. This was a struggle that tested not only the limits of intellect, but also the very limits of the human spirit. In the moments when time and space lost their meaning in the Nemesis's command center, Elara Thorne and her team prepared for the final phase of the War of Consciousness. The synapse connection was no longer merely a technological tool, but a symbol of humanity's inner power and darkness. The storm born within their own minds revealed the true secret of the galaxy's most fearsome warriors. The enemy's last defenses lay hidden in the deepest labyrinths of the conscious realm, but Elara, Jarek, Dr. Silas Cadet, and Lena Moreau were united in this complex mental warfare that transcended the limits of human reason. Their minds were interconnected, searching for light within the darkness, while Yarek, with his keen intellect, neutralized the enemy's final traps. Elara embraced the darkness within herself. Past fears, traumas, and pain were now her greatest source of strength. She understood deep down why humans were the galaxy's most fearsome warrior species, because they were born from their darkness and could weaponize that darkness. Dr. Silas Cade smiled slightly as he analyzed the final data. Synapse X's true power lies not in technology, but in the human mind itself. And this mind is not lost in an infinite universe, it shapes it. As Lena reported that the system's energy levels were critical, Elara issued a final command: all hands on deck. This war is not just a war of our minds, but of our souls, and we will win. With a final explosion, the enemy's world of consciousness collapsed. The minds within Nemesis returned to the real world. A weary yet triumphant silence hung over them. Elara was weary, yet proud. We are minds born from darkness, and this darkness is our greatest weapon. The galaxy's most fearsome warriors were legendary, not only for their strength, but also for the darkness they carried within the depths of their minds.